Now, from that to this, the Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin firing back at nearly 300 former Yale classmates of his, declaring no, he will not resign in the wake of President Trump's handling of Charlottesville. Our next guest is the RNC spokeswoman, Kayleigh McEnany. Good to see you again, Kayleigh. Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you, too.
Now, Mnuchin, and I'll put Gary Cohn on this list. They were the subject of a number of stories last week.
Sure.
Because they were standing next to the president at that news conference. They said, these guys are going to resign. Mnuchin said no. Cohn is still there. What do you think of that?
Look, I think we saw everything we needed to see, heard everything we needed to hear in Steve Mnuchin's response to his 350 Yale classmates. He said to them, I am Jewish. I would never stand with a president who didn't support my ideology, my faith. This is a president who stands against hate, who stands against white supremacy, which is antithetical to anyone who of the Jewish faith would believe in. We know the president's daughter is Jewish, his son-in-law is Jewish, Steve Mnuchin's Jewish. So he categorically
So is Gary Cohn, who's his chief economic advisor. The stories about him were basically saying things to the effect, and this may be putting words in his mouth, but saying that he's better off, he being Cohn, staying in the White House, because if he doesn't stay there, quote-unquote, crazier things are going to happen, that somehow he's calming this president down. What do you say to that?
Look, I don't think anyone's calming the president down. The president's very rational. He's very methodical. I think he gets a bad rap in the mainstream media who likes to demonize him, mischaracterize him, as they've continually done. These people are standing by him because they believe in his agenda. They realize that unemployment's at a 16-year low, consumer confidence at a 16-year high. A lot of good is happening under this president. You don't hear about the good because in some corners of the mainstream media, it's as if in order to be news, it has to be negative.
Now, tonight, when he speaks about Afghanistan, well, we're told he's going to talk about adding 4,000 additional troops. You talk about media coverage of the president. One of the things I've heard about this Afghanistan speech is it's a change the subject type of speech, that's why he's speaking about this topic tonight, to get off these other topics that we're talking about. You say to that?
It's not changing the subject. This is putting American interests first. I understand that some in the mainstream media want to talk about the more sensational topics, topics that may make sexy headlines. The president's for putting the American interests first. And he has said all the way back to the election, if I find out that reluctantly I need to increase troop levels, I will do so, even though it's not what I want to do.
Right, so it's clearly not what he wants to do, right?
No.
I mean, he's been the guy saying for years, hey, we got to get out. Now he's saying 4,000 more in.
And the president's heart of hearts, he is America first, which means in some ways being isolationist. It means only putting troops in harm's way if you absolutely need to do so.
You think he's an isolationist?
An isolationist in some ways. I think it's America first. So we only put troops in harm's way if the facts absolutely necessitate it, which is why I know if the president is sending 4,000 troops to Afghanistan, the facts necessitate it, and America's interest means that we must do so.